Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. I can't believe it. This is the most excited I've been in a couple of weeks in relation to Manchester United transfer news. He's back. He's back. He's back. He's like Voldemort, back of the net. You do something to me and I can't explain. It's Frenkie de Jong. It's Frenkie de Jong time. People are going to leave en masse. But this is coming from Spain. I've got a smile on my face. At last, we've got something that's more interesting than Mason Mount or Harry Kane or whatever. We've got a new deal we can mess up and we can be excited even if it's just for 10 minutes because it's coming in. People are saying not again. I'm happy. I'm genuinely happy. Like when you open up a new present, I'm just like, oh, at least it's something different. We're also, apparently we're in for Kudus. This is coming in from Mohamed Kudus from Ajax. This is coming in from the Netherlands. We'll talk about that. Spurs have apparently registered an interest in Harry Maguire. This could be the best night of the transfer window. Enjoy it while it lasts. It's probably going to last about a couple of minutes. Most of you in the chat will be used to that. But yeah, enjoy it while it's here. Smash a like, subscribe, get the champagne out. It won't get any better than this. So look, welcome to the Members Club, Macaulay. Thank you very much for getting involved. Look, this is not coming in from anybody I know. This is not coming in from UK. This is coming in from Spain. It's coming in from good sources in Spain that Frenkie de Jong is a possibility to leave Barcelona this summer because they've got financial issues. They keep trying to push him out. Obviously, he doesn't want to go. We know that. My personal feeling on this, we did the end of season tour show. You've probably watched the video on the members section. At the start of the second half, I gave away the only 2 ever Frenkie Goes to Manchester t-shirts. I gave them away, safe in the knowledge we would never sign Frenkie de Jong. If we sign Frenkie de Jong, I am an absolute jinx on transfers. But roll it back, get the printers back, get the design back. But no, look, seriously, I've got to react to this seriously. I told you this a few weeks ago. There will be a night, there will be a morning where we talk about Frenkie de Jong to Manchester United. We will just have to steer our way through this path. It obviously is not going to happen. We've been here before, but it was always going to happen in relation to a story linking us to him. Mark, I honestly can't do this anymore. We have been linked with every credible player, and Frenkie de Jong and his girlfriend joked about going to Old Trafford to Slow Sport News. Hi Mark, love you so much, says Adrio. I'm actually slightly worried about this. If there's 1% chance Frenkie's available, Ten Hag will literally sacrifice all of the targets. You know it, Joshua. You know it. Murta and Arnold decided where to go on holiday this summer. Hope they don't forget the suntan lotion, says SK. And I know we're back in de Jong headlines, not from you, Mark, but we all knew, says Ray. We do. Look, at the end of the day, some people don't like change. My grandparents used to love going to Cornwall every year to the same section of Cornwall, Padstow. They call it Rick Stein Town now. They'd always go back there. And maybe Murta and Arnold are like that. Cheer in for Rabiot and let's go back to Barcelona for de Jong. Maybe they just like the cuisine because we're back in for the 2 midfielders that we wanted last year for definite. Rabiot. But Joshua's right. Andy Cheatham says de Jong, no. He did not want to come. Let Bayern have him. Kudos, yes, I'll take him. Kane and 20 million for Maguire. So lots to talk about tonight, Andy. And we need the T-shirt back, Mark, says Sank. Look, this is not plucked out my arse. This is coming in from at Benayar Dekaraf. I can't pronounce the name. 3.5 million followers on Twitter. Barcelona based, basically saying that not Manchester United, Frenkie de Jong's departure is on the table as Barcelona urgently need to sell a player. Reports super reliable, and that person who I just can't pronounce their name. So look, this is coming in from Barcelona. It doesn't reference Manchester United, to be fair, but Joshua Bowater's absolutely correct. If there was a sniff of signing Frenkie de Jong, Erik Ten Hag would be like me. If there was one space on a dinghy and a shark was coming towards us and all the community's in the water, I don't care how many super chats you've given, I don't care how long you've subscribed, you're getting an elbow in the face because I'm taking the last seat on the dinghy. Well, Erik Ten Hag's doing this to get to Frenkie de Jong. There's nobody getting in the way of Erik. He's going to shove people out of the way. He's going to go for him. And the question is, can he get him? I'm going to be completely honest here. You've got to get, I've said it about Mason Mount, you've got to get the manager what he wants, because otherwise, how can you ever know the capabilities and full potential of the manager if you don't get him what he wants? from minute one coming to Manchester United, he wanted Frenkie de Jong. That's not going to change. So I'll be completely honest with you here. Two things. One, if Frenkie de Jong's available, Man United have got to try and do the deal because it's the player that Ten Hag wants above anybody and always has. So United have got to drop everything and go and do it. That's just the way it is. At the end of the day, it's a little bit like, I'm sure you've all been in this position. Let me just... Hashir's gifted 10 memberships. He could refuse to leave like last year. I'm sure he will, Don Aston. I'm sure he will. If we just bid 60 million for De Jong and say we aren't paying more than that, leave it on the table and take another option if it goes on too long. Yeah, there's a few things to talk about here, Levi, especially. Of course there is. And James has been a member for 16 months. But look, in relation to Frenkie de Jong, if I was director of football, I'd go back in for him because I know Ten Hag wants him. And this is a little bit... And I know some people will disagree with that. But imagine this, right? You're walking down the aisle. You're marrying somebody you really like. Okay? You're walking down the aisle. All your family and friends are there. All their family and friends are there. You've paid for the reception. You've got Fatboy Slim DJing. And, you've got Ollie Murs dancing. And you've paid a lot of money for this wedding. You're literally... she's walking down the aisle, not you. You're stood at the end of the aisle, unless you're a girl. Could be a girl. You could be walking up the aisle. Either way, it's your wedding day. You're minutes away from tying the knot. Your WhatsApp goes. You think, I probably should turn it off. Everyone's looking at you, and you think, well, you never know. Man United might have signed a player. So you take a look at your phone, and it's a message from your dream girl or boy that rejected you when you were 18. And they say, I'm back in the country. I'm single. I'm looking to mingle. I think I made a mistake. Do you fancy meeting for a drink? What do? Do you say, put it back in your pocket and go, there's too many if, buts and maybes there, I'll carry on with this safe one? Or do you go, I'm off? I'm off, basically. You're telling me there's a chance. I'm off. Where are we meeting? Weatherspoons? Can you send a recent picture? I just want to make sure there's no big changes from when we last saw. And I'm not being weightist. I'm more talking about hair colour, any accidents around the facial area, I mean, if you want to tell me your current dress size, that's fine, but I wasn't talking about your weight. So I think that this is a little bit what it's like with Erik ten Hag. There's a chance to go and get his dream signing. You've got to go and do it. So from a Man United point of view, they've got to look at this very seriously tonight and go, well, what's the possibilities of doing this? Is it just pure paper talk, or are Barcelona really looking to sell? Eric, what do you think? My view, we're moving on to my view now. What would I do? What would you do? I'm going to put a poll out, don't worry. Flavio, welcome to the Members Club. RR, welcome to the Members Club. I always worry about new people who are tuning in who don't know what the channel's all about, and they're going, what's he on about? What's he doing? WhatsApps and stuff. What a crazy opening to the transfer window, and we aren't even sold yet, says Todd. But personally, for me, this is where I stand on this. You seem like a great and honest, respectful guy, Mark, says Daniel. Thank you very much. I have a feeling if Frenkie de Jong leaves, he'll go to City. Need someone to replace Gundogan. I've always thought that, the beast. I've always thought that. And that would destroy Erik ten Hag. This time we must not approach Barcelona unless Frenkie says to Ten Hag he wants to join United, says Glenny. Well, you know what? Frenkie de Jong is the sort of guy that probably would sign for Man City, wouldn't he? Got no idea what a bunch of mercenaries they are, and goes to the bloody soulless club in Manchester. But that doesn't stop me preventing from what I'm about to say. Thought I'd click on an old video. Yes, go all out for Frenkie. He's Erik ten Hag's general, says Mike Calvert. And I respect that Erik ten Hag wants de Jong, but I can't sit through another de Jong saga. Right. That's from Jared. And are you thinking de Jong has changed his mind about not wanting to play for United? How do you navigate buying a player that doesn't want to? Well, we're going to come to this, Kale. We're going to come to this. A lot of you getting some steam out tonight. That's absolutely fine. We've got a lot to talk about. Spurs want Maguire. We've also got Kudus and a few other things to talk about. But this breaking news coming in from Spain, saying that Frenkie de Jong is on the transfer list as Barcelona look to raise money. And one thing I will say, and I'd argue this with anybody, Barcelona would clearly sell Frenkie de Jong. Can we just accept that? Amongst all bullshit, amongst all stories, Barcelona clearly would sell Frenkie de Jong. They would have sold him last year, and they'll clearly sell him this year. If de Jong wants to stay there for his wife and his football, that's absolutely fine. But it's a little bit like being in a friendship group, isn't it? I never had this, but whether it's school, down the pub, five-a-side, whatever. you know, you're in a friendship group and you can tell no one really likes you, but they all smile to your face, but they're stabbing you in the back. You know, they are. And, you know, you probably got a friend in your friendship group that you do it to. Hopefully it's not you, but that's what it's like for Frenkie de Jong. It's all smiles to his face, but behind the back, they want him to go. Mark, selling clubs are anticipating a Qatar takeover, hence the prices for our targets, says Marcus. Don't want to get my feelings hurt again by De Jong, says Ivan. Well, get your thoughts in. Ivan has gifted 5 memberships as well. Legend. Can you do a poll for Frenkie? We've just done it, Joshua Bowwater. We've just done it there, so get your votes in. 81% of you already would go for Frenkie de Jong. My personal feeling, if I can just have it, obviously Ten Hag would want him, and we should try and get him if he's available. We've got to make the phone call, in my mind. Would I sign him? Yes. If you're telling me there's a 5% chance of us, you know, we can give Mount up and go for De Jong, it's a bit like being on your wedding day and you get that phone call. You know, I want a picture first. I want it confirming. I'll fight it out now. If you discard Mount and you've only got a 5% chance of getting De Jong, I'd still go for De Jong, because you've got to live the dream. You've got to go for the player. It's a long time since I've spoken about Frenkie de Jong, but the thing about Frenkie de Jong is he can do everything in the midfield. You could stick Casemiro and let Frenkie be more advanced. You could rest Casemiro and let Frenkie sit. You could play them in a 2 away at the Etihad. They'd work really, really well. I think it would be... Look, let's be absolutely honest. Eriksen was the free wish version of Frenkie de Jong last summer. He wants Frenkie de Jong to do the Eriksen role. He always did. He would drop everything to go for Frenkie de Jong, and so would I. The chances of us getting him, this is the important bit. What chance have we got of getting him? Probably none. I don't think he wants to come. I don't think he wants to leave Barcelona. I don't think we could negotiate a deal. I think there are other clubs that would move for him, probably Man City, maybe Chelsea, maybe Liverpool, maybe Arsenal. I think there'd be a lot of clubs sniffing around Frenkie de Jong, to be honest with you. If I was Arsenal, I'd be considering dropping Declan Rice's interest. If I was Man City, I'd be considering dropping Declan Rice's interest to go for Frenkie de Jong. So, no, I don't think we would get him. But you've got to try. You've got to try, because whatever anybody says, this is the player that Erik Ten Hag is obsessed with. And, you know, it's a little bit like Martin Scorsese, the brilliant film director, being obsessed with putting Brad Pitt in a film, which he probably already has, or DiCaprio, or Pacino. I'm intrigued to see what it is. And this is a different level, because I love football more. I would love to see it happen. Do I think it will happen? No. Do I think United have got to inquire? Yes. Do I think it's total bullshit? No. I do think that Barcelona would let him go. But as we found last year, just because Barcelona want to sell Frenkie de Jong doesn't mean he's going to leave. His contract goes to 2026. He sat in last summer and he'll sit in again. And if he goes, look, let's remind ourselves of last summer. We were after him at the start of May. We didn't get him at the end of August, because if he goes, he's owed money by Barcelona and they don't want to pay him. So do I fancy a whole summer chasing Frenkie de Jong? No, I don't. But you've got to at least try. De Jong, Casido or Rabiot and Mount, says Jamie. I want De Jong or Casido in them situations. SK says, Anana, Kim Min-jae, Frenkie de Jong, Kane, Højlund, Casido. I am a dreamer, but imagine, says SK. You're a very big dreamer. You've eaten way too much cheese. Grumpy Arsehole says, I wouldn't believe we have signed anyone until I see the player signing the contract with Erik Ten Hag's arm around his shoulder. The club is a joke. And Mark, hope all is well. Imagine Frenkie de Jong and Casido. One can wish. Greetings from DC, says Louis. Greetings, pal. This morning it was Rice, now Frenkie de Jong. Takeover saga still on my club is a joke. Fed up, says Desiree. And between de Jong and Casido, who would you rather get, says Denny. De Jong. De Jong. You know what? Sort of getting dragged back into a conversation I never thought we'd be having. I thought that Frenkie de Jong played really well. I thought Frenkie de Jong at Old Trafford, when we played them back in, was it February, was incredible. I thought it was absolutely incredible. And that was the game where I thought, you know what? I've had my doubts about de Jong, whether he can deal with the physicality of the Premier League. And I watched him in that game, because I don't watch loads of him. I don't watch Frenkie de Jong every week. I've seen quite a lot of him over the years, but the one thing I always worried about was his ability to, deal with the tenacity of the Premier League, and I thought he was fantastic that night. So, any doubts I had about him disappeared that night. I have a weird feeling that no new signings will go on tour, says Kevin. That would be a disaster. Flavio's gifted 5 memberships. What a legend. And Bayern are willing to buy Frenkie for 105 million. Do you actually think we can get him with the Glazers in control, says Michael? You know what, though? I think I respect how positive you are, Mark. Let's all stay positive for United to either sign Frenkie de Jong or Casido. No to Rabiot, says Big Boy. You know what, though? I have to call bullshit. I've seen Bayern Munich linked to Harry Kane, Victor Osimhen, Jude Bellingham, Frenkie de Jong. They're going to spend 100 million. When have Bayern Munich ever spent 100 million and given stupid wages to a player? I mean, that doesn't mean that they won't do it. But when have Bayern Munich ever done that? That's just not how Bayern Munich are run. They don't need to do that. They'll win their league next season if they sign me and Faz, and put us in the midfield. They'll still win. They don't need to go and spend that sort of money on a player, and they won't. Hi Mark, love you, thank you, says Eddie. Well, look, 80% of you, we've had nearly 10,000 votes. Keep them going in. 80% of you, would you want De Jong? 80% have said yes. Look, United have got to go in there and have a go. That's all they've got to do. It might be a very, 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 very quick phone call, but they've got to go in and have a go. I think Frenkie de Jong would have come to Man United last summer. I think publicly he said he didn't, but I think he would have done if Barcelona had paid him off. Apparently Barcelona are ready to sell Frenkie de Jong this summer again. We ain't heading anywhere this summer unless the sale happens. We aren't selling, we aren't buying, and everyone related to the sale has gone quiet, says Mojo. Just before we move on, because we've got some other stuff to talk about as well, I just want to say this, and I'll say it with complete and utter conviction. The sale is going to have zero impact on transfers. And anybody who's saying it is a prat who doesn't know what they're talking about. The sale will not stop us buying players. Mason Mount would be holding up a Man United shirt tomorrow if they'd accepted our third bid. We are going to sign players and the sale will not impact it. We won't have as good a summer as we would have had if we'd been bought by Qatar, but we will buy players. Because even if United accept a bid from Qatar tomorrow, they won't get the club until August. Because you've got to go through all the authorities, all the Premier League ratification, all the checks. We're not even at exclusive period. We're not even in, you're the one we want to buy the club. So we are not, even if Qatar got accepted tomorrow, they wouldn't have the keys to the club until mid-late August. We're not going to wait till mid to late August to sign players. We will buy players. There is a myth going round that I don't think United will buy anybody until the sale's sorted. It's bullshit. The sale's not sorted because you decide to sell to Qatar. It's still got to go through a load of stuff and there'll be a lot of barriers in the way. We will buy players. It's just a Glazer summer. That's the negativity. It's the Glazer summer led by Arnold and Murta. That's the thing to worry about. To get De Jong would require having a recruitment team with the level of expertise that United have proven over the years they just don't have, says Stephen. Exactly. I agree with you on that one. So look, maybe we can circle back to Frenkie de Jong, but it's not something we've brought in. It's not something we've heard from a source, although I have got more source than Nando's sources. But no, I've not heard anything about Frenkie de Jong. This is literally reacting to a story coming in from a good source in Spain that, and I'll read it back to you again, Frenkie de Jong's departure is on the table as Barcelona urgently need to sell a player. Reports coming in from Spain. So that's where we are with that one. Let's talk about Mohamed Kudus. I think this would be a Mason Mount alternative. Now, in relation to Mason Mount, Manchester United are still very confident that they'll buy him. Mason Mount is still very relaxed about the situation. He's already told Pochettino that if the sale doesn't go through, he'll go on tour, he'll be ultra professional, but he's not going to sign a new contract. So that deal, has probably hit, calm waters now where nothing's going to happen for a while. So United have got to look at other options. Casido is apparently a red herring. Not literally. I mean, apparently there are good sources close to Chelsea and Brighton saying Man United are not in this race. They're clearly just saying that to try and make Chelsea do something, and Chelsea are seeing straight through it. We're not in for Casido. Fabrizio said it this afternoon on That's Football. It's Chelsea's player. Chelsea have done the work. Casido is a Chelsea player. They just need to sort of fee out with Brighton. Man United are not in the race. So we're clearly, whoever's put that story out that we're for Casido is clearly briefed. It's clearly spin. And it's clearly a stupid, vain attempt to try and make Chelsea think we're going to go and take one of their targets if they don't give us Mason Mount. We all saw through that at the weekend, and that's what it was, a poor tactic. In relation to Kudus, Mohamed Kudus, attacking midfielder, attacking player, really. I wouldn't even say he's an attacking midfielder, would you? I wouldn't even say Kudus is an attacking midfielder. I'd see him more as a front four player, really. More of a 10, more of a, I don't really see him as playing next to. I certainly don't see him doing what Mason Mount might be asked or Eriksen might be asked to do. Definitely more of an attacking player. So I don't know that this makes a lot of sense. I mean, he's a good player. He is a good player. Mark, I've been on holiday for a week. Can you give me a 10-second rundown of anything worth knowing? Says Jay Piggott. Mount bid rejected. No sale. I don't see. Tok says Kudus is a false 9 striker. He's a number 10. Yeah, but I don't think we're buying Mason Mount to be a number 10. I think we're buying Mason Mount to be a number 8. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is, can you imagine a midfield 3? Well, a front 3 of Anthony, Rashford, striker, and then Bruno, Kudus, and Casemiro. I mean, that terrifies me. There's not enough defensive support there. So I don't think it makes a lot of sense that we're actually in for him. But this is what's coming in from De Telegraph, which is a Netherlands-based outfit. And you might remember this name from last summer, Marcel van der Kraan. We heard a lot from him about De Jong last summer. What I understand over the weekend is that Kudus is indeed very much in the picture for Manchester United, but in a position where someone else is still way ahead of them. And we understand that the team that is ahead of them, from numerous sources, is actually Brighton. So in relation to Kudus, we can report it and we can say that, look, Shane says, if we sign Frenkie de Jong, I'll sleep with my mother-in-law. He wouldn't be the first. I mean, not to sleep with your mother-in-law. I mean, a lot of people actually quite fancy their mother-in-law. Not me, but I'm just saying. And definitely not everyone's had a go on Shane Hughes' mother-in-law. Although he would if we signed Frenkie de Jong. Let's hope she's willing, Shane. Otherwise, that's not a good line. Is there a chance we sell and buy little to none this summer? Says Mike. No, I think we will buy players. Who's your top target for the summer? Says Big Boy. Just Rhodey's just gifted 5 memberships. And Silverback Gamers has thanks very much for your super chat. Just Rhodey's a new member as well, actually. Thank you, mate. Is there a chance we sell and buy little to no one this summer? No, we will buy players. Look, it's just going to be. I'm not going to be that negative. I'll be negative about the fact that the summer's chaotic. We don't really know what we're doing. It's all over the place. But so was last summer. It's just going to be a Glazer summer where it's embarrassing. It's all over the place. We go for crap players. We go for good players. We don't have enough players on tour. We're not ready for the start of the season. That's my biggest fear at the moment. I still think we'll spend 200 million. Getting De Jong will be the last chance for the Glazers to go gracefully, says Praveen. And I wonder if the fan base and Beth would sacrifice a new goalkeeper if it meant we get De Jong, says Joshua Bowater. It's a good question. I would. I definitely would. I don't think... Anyway, going back to Kudus, I don't think we'll get him. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. And I think Ajax will want good money for him. So I just don't see it happening, to be honest with you. But it has been reported that United have an interest in him. Again, I think this is just a diversion tactic to make Chelsea think we're looking at other players instead of Mason Mount, when actually I think we all know we're literally waiting for Chelsea and Mason Mount, aren't we? I think United at the moment in relation to Mason Mount, they've gone, we're walking away, but we're leaving the offer on the table. See you later. And then they're sat there going, when do you think they're going to ring? Just watching the phone. Have you had any emails? You got your notifications on? I think United have, completely and utterly exposed what they're all about, really. This story I like it a lot. A few Dumb and Dumber references here. Been a great show tonight. A little bit of I like a bit of new news. I mean, we've not been sold. We haven't bought Mason Mount. We haven't sold anybody. We've not bought Harry Kane. We've not bought anyone. We've not sold anyone, and we've not sold the club. So let's not pretend that June has been riveting anyway. So allow me this Monday night to be very excited that we're actually talking about something new. It's not another Mason Mount story or another, sales story. So I'm enjoying it tonight for as little time as it lasts. But I do like this story. It's coming in from The Telegraph. Harry Maguire is an option for Tottenham as they aim to strengthen their back line. Spurs are yet to indicate whether they will bid for Maguire, and there is no certainty they will, but interest has been registered. You see, this to me is fantastic because there is genuine interest in Harry Maguire at a certain level. He's not good enough to start for Man United, and there ain't no way Man City and Arsenal are getting into a bidding war for this England international. But below Manchester United, Newcastle, Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, that's where Harry Maguire resides. You know, that's where he is. You know, when you were at school, did you ever have... you're probably not allowed to do it now because it's not fair. But we used to do it for everything. Maths, sport, something else. French, probably. You had top set, middle set, not stupid set. That's what some people used to call it. I used to call it foundation set. I didn't used to call it the stupid set. One of my friends was in that. He spelt spoon, S-P-U-N. We used to call him Spunner. But anyway, it was all right in the 90s. Mark, sometimes I think you forget just how incompetent our owners are and recruitment team are, says Moses. And evening, Mark, if we haven't signed anyone close to the end of July, we can officially start bricking it, says Regan. We need to do a lot of business by the end of July. I bet we miss out on Kudus this season and Brighton get him for 30 million and next season we'll want to sell him for 75, says Jack. Yeah, maybe. Anyway. Let's pretend, let's go back to what we were talking about. So let's pretend maths. In maths, when I was at school, you had a top class for the clever people who were good at maths. You had we're being a little bit elitist here. You had a class for people who were good at maths. You had, I think, 3 classes for medium people, and then you had the foundation class. I was in the top class. But to be honest with you, I was probably a little bit like Harry Maguire. I talked the talk, but I probably wasn't good enough to be in the top class for maths. I messed around too much, you know. I hated it when I got asked the question like, if A squared plus B 3 is X, what is Z? I just look at him and go, I don't know, D. So look, I was a bit like Harry Maguire. I was put into the top set, but I was overreach. You know, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault that somebody paid £80 million for me. What I always wanted to do was go down to the medium set because I knew in the medium classes I'd be one of the best and my mates were there and I could talk about football. So I always wanted to go down to the medium set, but my teacher wouldn't let me because he was like, it's GCSE year and, you know, I think you can get an A if you work really hard. And I'd look at him and go, do you know who you're talking to? I'm not working hard at maths. I'm leaving school and getting signed up for Man United. He just said, I think you should work hard at maths. And I said, I think you should learn about how good I am at football. You might learn a few things. Anyway, needless to say, I still had the last laugh because look at what I do now. But anyway, I think that's the story with Harry Maguire. He's not good enough to be in the top set. He thought he was. He was actually put in there. It's not his fault. He needs to go down to the medium set. And I think West Ham, Everton, Manchester City, not Manchester City. I'd love him to go to Man City. Spurs. These are the sort of places that they are genuinely interested in him. And I think it's a great move. I think if Harry Maguire went to Spurs, I'd be all over that. It's a good move for him. But he's got to want to go. You know, United need to raise money. He's the 4th choice centre-back, probably the 5th choice centre-back, really. And he wants to keep playing for England. You go to Spurs, you're going to play every week, mate. I think he'd be really good for Spurs as well. I mean, bloody hell, he may as well have been playing for them a couple of years ago when he was pulling Luke Shaw off so that Spurs could score. Any chance in the world we do a surprise unveiling tomorrow for the kit drop, says Kevin? None. Absolutely none. But no, look, we can all joke about Harry. And I think that's because we've all hit the end of the road. There's no problem with that. I mean, there's countless players this has happened with over the years where... You know they're not bad players, but you've just had enough of them at Manchester United. We've had loads of players like this over the years, absolutely loads, where you know they're not that bad, you just want them to go. And Maguire has hit the end of the road at Manchester United, but he's not going to get signed up by, Stoke. He is good enough to play in the midsection, and Spurs probably will be fighting for 6th next year, so that'd be a good place for him to go. And he'll keep his England spot. So look, I hope there's something that can be done there. I mean, dare I say it, if Spurs want Harry Maguire and they want Jadon Sancho, is there not some sort of deal that could be done here involving Harry Kane, who's got 1 year left on his contract? I mean, logically, you'd say yes, but this is Daniel Levy, who doesn't want to sell Harry Kane to Manchester United, but they probably wouldn't mind a couple of our players. I throw it out there because it's logical, but of course, it's not going to happen. And ultimately, even if you can't get Harry Kane, still give him Harry Maguire. Could it be a different scenario for Frenkie de Jong because we have Champions League football now, says Wazim? Yeah, we are in a different position now. I mean, yeah, right. If Frenkie de Jong had joined us last year, he'd have been playing in the Europa League, which ironically is what he did anyway. He'll have seen what Man United were already all about when we knocked Barcelona out. So you could argue that our stock has risen in relation to Frenkie de Jong. It's a good point. All I'd say is, look, if you're tuning in a little bit late, good reports coming in from Barcelona that they would look to sell Frenkie de Jong because they need to raise money. They were in this position last year. United would be silly not to inquire. I mean, how silly would it be if Chelsea agree a deal for Mason Mount and then go and sign Frenkie de Jong? We'd look bloody idiots then. So we've got to inquire. We've got to find out. And it could be a very short conversation, but we've got to find out. Jack says he's willing to carry Harry Maguire to North London. Myself and the prat that added letters to maths needs to put in solitary confinement for life, says Jack. I'll never understand it. Why do we need to know? Somebody in the chat will let me know. Why do we need to know what A plus Z? If A plus Z equals X, what's X? Why do I need to know that? Why don't you just tell me that A is 5 or 2 and Z is 2? 2 plus 2 is Matic, Who do you think could miss the tour, Mark? I feel Højlund might drag a bit, says CJ. Well, you've got to get these players done first. Son, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for that. There are a few other bits. Lots of people getting comments in. Just wanted to say this because it's all fine and good to moan about something, but when you get a little bit more clarity, you should have the humility to at least acknowledge it. So this is coming in from Rob Dawson. He says that in relation to Zidane Iqbal, his transfer to Utrecht is worth £850,000 and includes a 40% resale clause and a buyout clause. So effectively, the story is around Iqbal is that United moved him on because they didn't think he had the physicality for the Premier League. So he's gone to Utrecht, and the thinking around it is that if he goes there and does really well and proves that he does have the physicality, they'd be looking to bring him back. And, obviously if they didn't want to bring him back, but he did really well, we'd still get a 40%. So, to be honest, it's almost a loan deal. I mean, it's not a loan deal, but it's a clever deal because if he does really well and goes anywhere else, you get 40% and you get the option to buy him back. So, in honesty, you're almost loaning him to Utrecht to finish his development, and then if they do, we'll take him back. So I don't actually have as big a problem as I did. It looked like a horrific deal last week. It doesn't look as bad now. Please, not a whole summer of being linked to De Jong again. We have to move past this player and on to other more likely targets, says Hirth. But then if I said to you, mate, he's available, you can't move past it. Frankie earns 620k a week. Do we need that kind of wage on the team, Mark? It might disrupt team harmony, says Tusha. Look, as we talk and digest this story, the more information comes out that we knew about before. I think that he is on massive wages, which is one of the reasons Barcelona want to get rid of him. But I can't lie. If there's a chance, I'd go and have a go. Go back to my little clip about the wedding aisle. For me, that makes it, you've got to try. You can only ask, and it could be. But what I would agree with is, you go and ask, and you find out very, very quickly. You don't say, Barcelona, look, we want De Jong. Are you selling him? And they go, yeah, but we're going to go on tour first, and then we'll have a think about it. And then you speak to Frenkie de Jong, I don't want to go. United, at that point, you just move away and say, good luck to whoever tries to buy him, because they're going to get played about. But I think that you've got to go and have a try, haven't you? And I think United would be silly not to. So look, we'll have to wait and see how it develops. I always said there would be a story about De Jong anyway. It's a bit like the old Gareth Bale or Ronaldo story, isn't it? We used to get that every bloody transfer window. So it's always going to happen. But the fact that it's coming in from Spain makes it a bit interesting. And I think United have got to at least try. Just on Mason Mount, by the way, this is coming in from the Telegraph. United have had 3 bids for Mason Mount rejected. This is from Matt Law, who's very good around Chelsea. But the England international has not requested to leave the club. Mason Mount is set to tell Pochettino that he will continue to give everything for Chelsea while he's still a player at the club, and that he's prepared to go on tour and work hard ahead of next season. He's going to report for training and make himself available for their pre-season tour if the deal to Manchester United remains on hold. Man United's focus still remains on Mason Mount. They've left the offer on the table. That's coming in from the Mail. Look, in a way, it's a wish version of Frenkie de Jong, but the principles remain the same for me. If Erik ten Hag wants Mason Mount, I'll back it. But I don't like what we've done with this deal. I really don't. It's not a priority position for me. It is for Eric, but it's not for me. And a number 8 is not a priority. A number 6 is. A number 9 is. A number 4 is. And obviously many of you think a goalkeeper is. I wouldn't put Mason Mount's position as a priority, and yet it's the only deal we're working on, and we're leaving it on the table as well. It shocked me at the time, and it's a weird one. It's just really weird. I don't know why we're spending all this time on that deal first. And look, logically, sometimes it has to go like that. It's the hardest deal to do, and you've got to get that one first because the other deals are easier to do. I don't know, but it seems like we're not working on anything. The thing that frustrates the life out of me about United is that we can't work on more than one thing at once. It's like we have to work on one deal and then we'll work on another one. Decent football clubs can work on more than one deal at a time. And remember, we're trying to sell players as well. But why are we not working on the striker? Why are we not working on the centre-back? Why are we not working on the holding midfielder? Why is it we've got to leave an offer on the table for Mason Mount and then leave everything else as well? Like, there should be more things happening in relation to other deals, even if we are leaving it on the table for Mount. Mark, do you know when Rabiot will decide to stay or go to Juve, says Arturo. Scott Saunders and Graham Bailey from 90 Minutes reported that Chelsea have dropped their asking price for Mount from 65 to 60. Haven't seen it elsewhere, says Manchild. They're not two people that... Look, I've got nothing against them, but they're not two people that I would class as decent sources, to be honest with you, so I'd need to hear it from somewhere else. This morning it was Rice, now it's Frenkie de Jong. Takeover Starger still, I've done that one from Desiree. In relation to Rabiot, we'll come back. De Jong in the 90% club, says H. Do you want him back in the 90% club? And Mark, does Onana play number 6? If so, why not go and try and get him from Everton, says Darren. Look, yeah, don't mix up your Onanas. There is a number 6 midfielder defensive from Everton called Onana, and obviously there's the Inter goalkeeper that people want. In relation to Rabiot, it was interesting. We had Fabrizio on That's Football on because he alternates weeks, like it's United Stand, then it's That's Football. So it was That's Football's week this afternoon. But we did ask him about Rabiot, and he didn't agree that the deal with Juventus is done on Wednesday. He basically said Juventus are pushing hard, but Man United are very interested, and Rabiot does want to play in the Premier League at some point. So that Rabiot deal is not dead yet. Some of us would like it to be dead, but on the other hand, we're not going to get everything we want with 200 million. So getting somebody on a free, I can see the value in it. I'll be over the moon if we get Frenkie de Jong and Kane. Please hear my prayers, says Big Boy. And someone needs to grow a set and say, Eric, we aren't getting Mount because Chelsea are taking the piss. Who do you want us to get instead? Says Jack. And Mark, if you get Frenkie de Jong, I can officially say you will win the league because he is fantastic, says Galacticos FC. I like to do percentages. The chances of us signing Mason Mount are probably 75% at the moment. And the chances of us signing Frenkie de Jong are probably less than 10% at the moment. So that's where we're at the moment. I think the percentage chance of us signing Rabiot, probably 60% to us, 40% to Juventus, because I just think he's the sort of player that would leave Juventus and come to the Premier League, and we'll offer him good wages. And I think at the moment that's where we're at. I think those 3 deals around the midfield are the ones that United are clearly working on. I don't personally know what the alternative to Mason Mount is, but it's clearly not Casido. That was clearly just Man United or somebody trying to scare Chelsea, and it's not worked. What I was told about the Casido deal is, well, Fabrizio said it this afternoon anyway on That's Football, so it's clearly right. But what I was told about the Casido deal is Chelsea have done loads of work on that. He's agreed to come to Chelsea. The personal terms are sorted. It's just the fee to do with Brighton. So Chelsea aren't going to be scared that United are thinking about going for Casido because they've already done the work with Casido and he wants to go to Chelsea. So the stance from Chelsea is really one of quite of amusement, really, because it's like, so you're acting all tough. You're leaving an offer on the table for Mount, and you might go for Casido, but we've already got Casido sorted. He's not coming to you, and you can leave your offer on the table because it suits us. It actually benefits Chelsea that Man United signed Mason Mount in August. I reckon if Chelsea could, I actually think if Chelsea could have their way, they would take the £55 million for Mount on August the 31st. It works perfectly for them. You know you've got 55 million there. I mean, think of it like this. If you were Chelsea, you either ask for something stupid, like 60, 65 million, and if you get that, happy days, or you know that Man United will give you 55 million, and you go, well, actually, we know they'll give us 55 million because they've left it on the table. We will take that bid in August because it's beneficial. We know that the money's coming in, so we can spend it. And why should we give our rival, our player, that then gets settled in on tour, starts the season well? If we're going to get 55 million anyway, we may as well get it in August, and then he's not been on tour and he's not settled in the United team. I mean, I'm struggling to understand the benefits of leaving that offer on the table, because I think Chelsea will take it. And if I was Chelsea, I would take it in August. Because why would I take it now? I'll wait a bit. Forget paper talk. Based on your sources, who's likely a realistic signing, as in genuine signing, not possible signing, says, who was that? Ray. Forget paper talk. So, look, the most likely signing is still Mason Mount. I know people aren't going to like that. You know, so many people expect that still to happen. The deal I still think, and I've got to say, I don't know why we're not moving forward on a striker, because the striker is the most important position. I suspect we're still hanging in there, hoping that something might happen with Harry Kane when he comes back from holiday, but we can't afford that to happen, because if Harry Kane comes back from holiday and puts a transfer request in, you're still going to have 6-7 weeks of, no, he's not for sale, he is, this, that and the other, so it won't happen quickly. I still stand by that Rasmus Højlund to Manchester United is absolutely hotter than the sun. Ten Hag wants him, he wants to come to United, and a deal can be done with Atalanta, so I still stand by that one. But the risk with Rasmus Højlund is, if he's the only striker you buy, you do need two. Jaden, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hi, Mark, says Jack. I always love your shows, but I really can't see us signing De Jong. And apologies to be off topic, but do you have any updates on the takeover, says Jack? No, I don't have any updates on the sale. I believe there is a shareholders meeting on Wednesday, so we may get something around that at some point. I think people are holding out for that. But we need the hotter meter back, says Joshua Bowwater. I think the thing with the sale is, what tends to happen with the sale is you go into these, it's like a roller coaster, isn't it? You go into these lulls where nothing's happening and then something happens. Now, it used to be separated by deadlines. Remember when we used to get these Friday night deadlines, but they've stopped with that. I mean, what were they all about? How many deadlines did we have on a Friday night? About 3. And they started off in March, didn't they? And then they ended in early May. And here we are at the end of June. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I think with the sale, something will happen at some point that will get us all excited like it did 2 weeks ago. It was 2 weeks ago tonight, wasn't it? Where, you know, we had all the stock exchange and stuff. I mean, it's literally 2 weeks ago. And there was people saying, I've got sources that it's done and this, that and the other. They clearly didn't. And so, look, I think that... I still think Qatar are winning. Yeah, I still think they're winning. But I don't know when it's going to be announced. How long's a piece of string? I know much about this young American lad from Holland we're linked with, says Smoggy. Tyler Booth. I've not really seen enough of him, but a bit of a Mason Mount type, isn't he? Attacking midfielder. Mark, why do we always fall into the trap thinking this summer transfer window might be different? Are we all insane? Will it ever change? Says Addy. Well, you're right, Addy. It's the hope that kills you, isn't it? But I think what happens is, it's not that we fall into the trap. It's not that we fall into the trap, actually. What happens is that we end a season where we finish third, we get to 2 cup finals. Erik ten Hag has exceeded expectation. Most of the players have had a good season. You finish third and you look at it and go, this is what we need to do to go to the next level. So we all individualise it and we all go, this player needs selling, this player, 6 or 7 players need going, and 5 players need bringing in. And it's just natural because we've watched the season of football, we've seen us finish third, and we've gone, these are the things we need to do. They need to go and these people need to come in. It's just a natural reaction. And then what happens is, we know what needs to happen, and we sit and watch it not happen every year. But it's the hope that kills you, because at some point it won't always be like this, and we just hope that at some point... I think a lot of us went into this summer expecting the sale to be done as well. I think if we could go back in time and Michael J. Fox it, and, you know, we're doing an 8 o'clock show on a Friday in February, and Goldbridge from the future comes in and says, the joke's on you lot, because on June the 26th, the club still won't be sold. We'd all go, you're having a laugh. Because we'd know if the club's not sold by June the 26th, the summer transfer window is not going to be a new owner summer transfer window. And that's where we're at. I think even in May, we were being fed crap that they'd be in time for the transfer window. And I think that's where a lot of the hopes dissipated this summer, is that we finished third and we know what needs to be done. And we thought we were going to get a new owner in, and we haven't. So I don't think you can blame yourself, mate. I think there was enough reason to think that we might have an impactive summer transfer window, but ultimately it's the Glazers again, isn't it? Mark, news on the sale is circulating. Stock exchange. I've sent a few chats. Please read, says Christine. I'll have a look at that. And Chicarito says, Mark, I'm so fed up with the transfer stuff and the takeover. It's too much pain that I want to see you play with Twitch again as an escapism. I do want to play Twitch again, Chicarito. Milestone message not working, says Irish Pat. Yes, it is. You've just done it. Yeah, Pratt the Pratt. Right, let's have a quick look at this stock exchange. Nothing's happening on the stock exchange. The price has been pretty stable for the last few hours. It's around $22.40, which is where it was and has been for most of the last 5 days. So there is nothing circulating around the price at the moment. I think some people are expecting... Is it Wednesday there is this stock exchange... Not stock exchange, shareholders meeting. But yeah, I don't... I don't envisage anything tonight. But things like that can just happen like that. There's no doubt about that. But I'm just having a quick look. If only I don't bend and break, I'll meet you on the other side. I'll meet you. I don't know why I'm singing Keane. I'd like to sign Roy Keane. Okay, yeah, I was just having a quick look there. I think I lost there. You sad that you got rid of your T-shirts? Well, it would sort of be ironic in a way, wouldn't it, that I get rid of the T-shirts in the end of season Dublin show a couple of weeks ago, and then we actually go and sign Frenkie de Jong. Mark, who's the one United player throughout history that you wish you would never age and could play every season with United? I'm curious on who you'd pick as the almighty. Probably, I think for me in my lifetime, there's 4 or 5 players that I just absolutely loved. Roy Keane, David Beckham, Cristiano Ronaldo, Rooney. Who was the other one I was going to say? Scholes, I loved him. But we've been blessed. But I don't think a team with Roy Keane in it forever can go far wrong. Because you've got a manager on the pitch and a fantastic player. Mark, someone in the chat made a good point. Is it possible Barca got Gundogan? De Jong might actually be open to a move, says Regan. Yeah, I mean, a great point. Great point. Do you think Gundogan to Barcelona opens up the opportunity for Frenkie de Jong to leave? I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't really pay much attention to Barcelona because I think, like most of us, I was tired with what happened last year and I don't trust them. I thought their behaviour in the last summer transfer window was irritating. The amount of players they were buying and the amount of levers they were pulling. But if they want to play properly and Frenkie de Jong is up for sale, United have got to get in that race. But we can't be played again. We can't be played again. Absolutely not. Bring back Luke Chadwick, says Ronnie. Barca is always going to pick Pedri and Gavi over Frenkie, says Bavnor. Yeah, and Gundogan is a fantastic player, but you can still find a way of playing Gundogan and De Jong. Of course you can. Charles says De Jong won't leave because his partner likes Barcelona. I've got to be honest, I love Mrs. Goldbridge, but if I was playing for a football club and a club I wanted to play for came in for me and my wife said, I don't want to leave. I love everything about this place. I'd say, well, we're having a divorce then because I'm not staying here just because you like Barcelona. We can come back to Barcelona. We can come back in 10 years, but I'm off to Manchester. See you later. Au revoir, or as they say in Spain, por favor. Por favor. That's not it. Hola. No, that's not it. I can't remember what bye-bye in Spain is, but por favor. I'm off. It's true though, isn't it? I'd say you're only in Barcelona because I got bought by them. You've had a few years. Well done. We're going somewhere else now. The life of a footballer. And look, don't start moaning. You've done all right out it, haven't you? Look at your nice clothes and your car and your house. We're off to Manchester. Adios. That's it. It's adios. Adios FC. Yeah, but look, I think Frenkie likes Barcelona as well, doesn't he? I think Frenkie de Jong needs to get the message. As we were saying a few minutes ago, it's very clear that Barcelona want him to go. And turning up to work every day with people smiling at you when behind the back they're trying to push you away. Go somewhere that you wanted, mate. Oh, but I like Barcelona. I like the weather and I like the city. Yeah, but they don't like you. So the amount of Barcelona fans that wanted him to go last summer as well. I don't know what they think this year, but the fans wanted him to go. The club wanted him to go, and he didn't want to go. And he had a good season, but they're doing it again. Just get out. You know what? The bad thing is he'll probably end up playing for fucking Man City, won't he? Man City will probably go for him because Rice will go to Arsenal. Gundogan's left, so they'll go for Frenkie de Jong. And if they get Frenkie de Jong, it's curtains. You know, they'll probably do the double treble, won't they? Club sale, De Jong, transfer window, all boring, embarrassing, big club, says Anthony. Oh, Anthony. Anyway, look, it's been a fantastic show tonight. I hope you really enjoyed it. Some good laughs, and I've enjoyed it. And it probably has been a better show than it has been for a while, because I absolutely do not think we're good enough to get Frenkie de Jong. But I'm just over the moon that we've got something different to talk about other than the sale and Mason Mount, because I'm bored of that. Nothing's happening. Nothing's progressing. How many more times can you talk about Mason Mount, what he'd bring to the team, but the offer's on the table? How many times can you talk about I'm fed up with the Glazers, but we need a new owner? It was nice tonight to actually talk about Kudus and De Jong and Spurs' interest in Harry Maguire, because it was something new. Udit says, I'm so bored with United in this transfer window. Nothing's happening, like no signings, just want to skip days till the club is sold, says Udit. Well, things are going to happen. I mean, what I would say, every day nothing happens takes us closer to a day where something does happen, because things have got to happen between now and even next week. You know, Rabiot will make his mind up. David De Gea is going to make his mind up. So we are moving towards things happening. We just need it to happen sooner. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. You're all legends. Really enjoyed the show. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. Thanks for all your contributions, as ever. Stay safe and take care. And I will speak to you all in a bit. But I enjoyed tonight. We're not going to get De Jong, are we? But we can dream. Speak to you in a bit. Gracias. Por favor.